If your goal for 2023 is to build an unbelievable fragrance collection for not a whole lot of money, this video is really going to help you along. I mean, everybody has different priorities. Everybody looks for certain different types of things when it comes to building up a collection. But contrary to popular belief, an amazing collection doesn't have to be something that is full of niche that costed you thousands of dollars. You know, you just don't need to have that. If you want to have that, that's a great way to go about it. But if you want to do it on a little bit more of a budget, then you have some other options available to you that will offer some really great bang for the buck. Personally, I think some of these are rivaling niche fragrances in terms of their delivery and their uniqueness and everything like that. There are one or two more premium options in this video, so a little bit more expensive. A lot of the other ones, though, are very budget friendly. So there is a variety here all the way across the board from price, but also to the different types of scents and everything like that. You know, the ones that I chose that were a little bit more expensive are ones that maybe you wouldn't normally think of. You know, it's not a Creed Aventus or a Roja Elysium or Xerjoff Naxos or anything of that nature. It's a little bit different. So if you do want some more money to spend and you want to buy something that isn't being super hyped up, then that one will help you out. And a lot of these affordable ones are really great for the price and definitely smell more expensive than they are. So I will link these down below. If you want to pick any of these up, you're going to want to do so at discounters. That way you can just save some money. That's what this video is all about. And at retail, a lot of these are going to be significantly more expensive than the prices that I'm referencing in this video. All the prices are discounter prices as of right now. Also, I have a mailing list you can sign up to. Lately, some great things have been coming into stock the past few days. Angel Share for $170, Paco Rabanne Pure XS Night for $70. That one's going for $200+ on eBay and other places of that nature. Prada L'Homme Intense popped back up. So if you want to have a fighting chance of getting some of those deals before they're gone, sign up to the mailing list. Let's get things kicked off with a $35 one, Bentley for Men Absolute. It's all about the cedarwood, pink pepper, papyrus. I love this stuff. So good, and one of my favorites in the line. You know, it's tough because this and Bentley for Men Intense are just two amazing ones, and if I had to choose one, believe it or not, it might actually be Bentley for Men Absolute. As much as I have praised Intense, and I still love it, if I had to pick, when I factor everything in, this one might take the cake. And for a lot of you guys, this one would probably be the better purchase anyway. It's going to be a little bit more blind buy safe and more versatile. It's really all about the woods and the spices, but it's a very dry woody accord coming from the cedar wood. And interestingly enough, there's a little bit of a boozy kick off the opening, almost like a rum. There's no rum or alcohol or anything of that nature listed in here, but it kind of smells that way. And I get that every single time I spray it on, even kind of into the mid and smelling it in the air. I get a little bit of a boozy accord. Maybe I'm the only one, but to me, it's there. Maybe that's because it's a flanker of Bentley for Men, you know, the original and of course Intense to follow up. I don't know, but I pick up on that. Ultimately, for $35, this one brings incredible value. It's unique, kind of inspired by Gucci Pour Homme 1, but can you buy Gucci Pour Homme 1 anymore? No, you can't. So this one kind of stands out as being unique now because this DNA just isn't going to be all over the place. It's got great performance. The quality to price ratio is amazing. This is an amazing one to pick up to build a strong, solid collection on. Next up, we have Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum, just the original one here. Many flankers now, however, I want to focus on this one. It's got iris, it's got patchouli, some vanilla, some black pepper in here. To me, though, it's all about the vanilla first and foremost. It's a good amount of iris, but it kind of comes after that. The vanilla, black pepper is what this is primarily built on to me, but it smells gorgeous. It's breathtaking. I love this stuff. Again, comparing it to something like DIOR Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense, not only is this more affordable, you're talking usually around $85 for this one, where the other two that I mentioned are generally going to be hanging out for around $100 or a little bit over that. It's not a huge amount of savings, but it is better than nothing. But alongside that, again, more versatility out of this one, more mass appeal. It's easier to like overall, more blind buy safe. Ultimately, it's a great one to have in your collection, whether you're just starting out or you've been collecting for a while now. It's perfect stuff for fall and winter time. Something very unique that you just don't see all that often. It's Hermes Voyage, and this is the pure Parfum version. So the bottle is a little bit weird, as you can see, so it actually sits upside down all the time. But, you know, that's just kind of how it is. Kind of makes it cool. Something to stand out a little bit. It's on a hinge, obviously. So this one's unique. It's got cardamom, it's got lemon, it has tea. Not your typical combination of notes. At least when I think of a cardamom, I don't think of a tea going alongside of it. So you're getting warm spices with kind of a green smell. It's fresh and kind of uplifting, but also warm and spicy and sweet and masculine. I really like this one for what it is. And again, it's all about smelling different and being a bit unique. The bottle is also quite fun to play with as well. Ultimately, if you are wanting to stand out, you're wanting something that is maybe a little bit more of a challenge and isn't your typical run-of-the-mill cookie cutter blue scent, this is one you should look into. Oftentimes, Hermes, when I think of Hermes, I think of mature, refined, sophisticated, elegant scents, and this is no exception. Up next, a bottle that just makes me happy for some reason. Like every time I look at this stuff, it just puts me in a nice mood because it looks delicious and it smells amazing. Versace Pour Homme. Maybe the lighting doesn't quite do this one justice. Maybe the background doesn't either. But I mean, when you look at pictures of this online, when you see it on camera, there's something about that. It's so simplistic, so just modern looking. Even though this has been out since 2008, the smell, it's modern. The bottle, the presentation, everything about it is modern. I mean, this scent DNA will never go out of style. Now, this was not the originator. We can actually thank Chanel Allure Homme Sport for this DNA. That came out 4 years prior in 2004. So that's where it all started. Versace kind of got in and tweaked it a little bit. This one's brighter and fresher, more lemon focus, more neroli, and just generally more musk. The Chanel, a little bit more sweet from the Tonka, that sort of thing. There is Tonka in here. You pick up on a little bit of it. But again, this one's brighter, fresher overall, and a bit more floral. Ultimately, this is something that you literally cannot mess up. You could spray on half the bottle and you still will not offend people. Well, at that point you might, but the point is this scent itself, the DNA, is something that is likable by pretty much everybody. It might not blow everyone away. In fact, it won't blow most people away, but it does smell, at the very minimum, decent and pleasant to pretty much everybody, and you really can't beat that, especially for the price of around $40 to $45 for 100 ml. Going back to another one that's a little bit more affordable. Well, the Versace was too, but this one's even more so. I want to say it's around the 35 range as well. It's Mercedes-Benz Les Parfums. Nice presentation on this, nothing fancy, but you know, it kind of gets the job done with a fake leather wrap, and it even does have some fake stitching right there on the back of it. It's the little details that make things stand out. And this one is pretty nice. The bottle has some heft to it. Just nice presentation for the price. It's got oud, violet leaf, and amber in here. It's a nice unique take on oud, but then with violet leaf. So that's what makes it unique to me. It's normally you see oud and you think of a bunch of other sweet notes and incense and maybe even rose and that sort of thing. None of that. It's oud, but then with an ozonic fresh note. And almost even a little bit of a watery feel. I think that's pretty cool. It does make this one stand out. It's a different type of wearing experience if you want something that is just going to stand out a bit more and ultimately be a little bit more interesting for a low price. Okay, so this next one is going to be by far the most expensive, and it's the one I was thinking about when I was giving you my spiel in the beginning about, you know, the expensive ones that aren't what you would normally think of or hear talked about. Carolina Herrera Iris Empire. So yes, it's a designer brand. Yes, this is their, I think they call it confidential line, although I could be mixing that up with something else. It's their exclusive line. You know, look, I mean, every brand does it. Dior, Chanel, YSL, they all have it, okay? And people really have no problem paying the prices for those. You know, you might think, oh, I can buy a true niche fragrance for that price. But what's the difference? If this has quality that meets or even exceeds some of those niche brands, and it has a unique way of going about it, then what's the difference? You know, no one's gonna care if you say you're wearing Xerjoff because no one knows what that is outside of the community. At least some people will know what Carolina Herrera is, and generally if you tell them that, yeah, it's $200-300, then they're really gonna be impressed. So this is right around $225 right now. Now this has chocolate, has iris, there's some leather in here, truly beautiful. And you know what this smells like to me? It smells like a mixture of, to put it in just layman's terms, Dior Homme Intense mixed with CHMN Privé, believe it or not. So obviously the iris is gonna be coming from the Dior Homme Intense type of smell and the chocolatey nature of that, kind of gourmand. And then the leather accord in here is very similar to what's used in CHMN Privé. Talking the same brand here, obviously. Privé's discontinued, very hard to find, getting very expensive. That one even has a little bit of a splash of a whiskey. And sometimes when I smell this, I almost get just a very slight hint of a booziness, very slight. But I mean, it is breathtaking. The quality is top notch. It smells beautiful. It's got great performance. And yes, I'm using other scents to describe this one, but it still does its own thing. It stands on its own, and I don't see really any overlap of having this and the others. So it does kind of, you know, fit into your collection really well if you want to spend some money on a premium luxury product with nice custom presentation, magnetic cap. Don't sleep on this line. It's easy to, I understand it, they're expensive, but these are worth the money. I have a lot of them, continuing to get more, and so far they've all been amazing. AZZARO Visit Pour Homme. This one is right around, I wanna say $20 to $25. Now I've always said this, but the bottle presentation is very misleading, mostly the color. I mean, when you look at that, you think fresh, you think aquatic. Okay, at least I do. Very similar to the color of AZZARO Chrome and Nautica Voyage. Those are both fresh, metallic, clean, fruity. This is the polar opposite. It's got incense, cedarwood, and nutmeg. Yeah, probably not what you were expecting when you saw this one, but that's what it is. Very woody, masculine, traditional. Fantastic for the price. This is impressive. First time I got this one in and I tried it, I was blown away. I was so happy with it because when you only pay $25 for something like this, you either generally are going to be preparing for the worst or preparing for something that's decent, you know, kind of right there in the middle. This one is well beyond that. It exceeded my expectations, and I think this could go for $50, $60 and I would still buy it. I mean, if you're building up a collection, you got to have something that's summer-centric, and you really can't go wrong with Acqua di Gio Profondo. It's all about the mineral notes, the orange, the sea notes, right? All of that good stuff, the aromatics. I think there's some rosemary in here. I love this stuff. It's bright, it's uplifting, it's fresh, it's perfect for a day on the beach, just a day in the summer sun. It's fun, it's relaxing, it's refreshing, and it's a big people pleaser. That's what a lot of people are focusing on when building up a collection, and this one does it no problem. It's got great quality, even has great performance, all things considered here. Again, it's an aquatic, it's a freshie. We're not looking at, you know, your typical wintertime beast mode style of scent, but it really holds its own, and it's a great one to invest in. Running down to the end, second up, last up, or second to last, I guess is what I was trying to say. L'Homme Les Parfums by Yves Saint Laurent, of course. I really like this because it's a hybrid of two of my favorites from the brand. At least, yeah, two of them anyway. And what is that? That's the original L'Homme and Y Eau de Parfum. Seriously, that's what it has. It's got the amberwood, geranium, lavender, aromatics, the whole 9 yards. But then it also has that mature kind of traditional OG L'Homme smell, and then the blue amberwood aromatics. Really is a mixture of those two. It's how I look at it, and I think it's a great way to describe this one. Do you need a mixture of those two? You could argue that you don't, right? And not everyone does. Some people don't like YSLY EDP to begin with, in which case this probably wouldn't be something you should rush out and get. But if you like both of those that I just mentioned and you want something that kind of takes the best of both worlds with its own twist and combines them, this is a nice one to look into. It's a people-pleasing magnet because it's using that DNA, which is very successful. The quality is great like you would expect. All around, this is one that I really like a lot. And last up, Dior Homme 2020. It's all about the ISOE Super, the vetiver, the cashmere in here. a little bit of cedar wood as well. So basically, it's all about the woods and the aroma chemicals, which kind of have a woody tone to them. It's all about that, okay? It's really nothing super exciting in that regard. In fact, this one, when I first got it in, it didn't excite me at all. And to be fair, it still doesn't excite me. That being said, when you can get this usually for a little bit under $100, which is kind of unheard of for your typical DIOR Homme 100 ml, and the fact that it's so versatile, has great quality, great performance, and great mass appeal, at that point I look at it and I go, okay, you know what? This is nothing that is super exciting. I have a lot of things that aren't, but do the job really well, and that's exactly what this one does. So if you want something that achieves a great result of getting compliments and just smelling good and being versatile for a decent price and a luxury brand, a luxury designer brand anyway, this is one you should have. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for me. 10 beautiful scents that you can use to build an amazing, incredible collection. Most of these without spending a ton of money. Some of these are a little bit more of an investment. I wanted to include a variety of things for people who want to spend a little bit more, but there's also plenty of things in here where if you're kind of trying to watch your spending a little bit more, you're getting great bang for your buck with those more affordable ones as well. That's gonna do it for me guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.